science professor Jason Johnson here. And Jason, thanks for being with us again this morning. Okay, so we stopped short of diving off the fiscal cliff, but we could be right back in the same position in just a few months. There's still some key points that weren't addressed just yet. Let's talk about the first one, the debt ceiling.
Right. So the debt ceiling is the way for Congress, who approves our money and spends all our money, to finally hold Obama responsible for it. Basically, the president has to ask for more money in order for the United States to continue to borrow. They're going to have a huge fight over that. That's pretty much what our current fiscal cliff is about, and that's something we're going to be facing probably sometime in February or March, and it's going to be another huge drawn-out battle.
Yeah, definitely so. And then this whole sequester thing, explained that, because people are like, what?
Sequester is the most painful budget cut you can imagine. So if somebody walks up to you and says, you got to spend 20% less in your household, you got to figure out how. Are we going to lose cable? Are we going to eat more ramen noodles? So the sequester is, how does Congress and Barack Obama decide where they're going to make cuts if they cannot come up with a deal? And that'll probably happen sometime around February or March.
So for a family, you're thinking about cutting your budget back, you know, to behave yourself with your finances. Well, you're talking things, well, maybe I won't buy a Game Boy or whatever, but these things are things that affect people's lives, right?
Yeah, these are massive. So, you know, some of the cuts are going to be in the military, which is what the Republicans cared about, and some are going to be in the domestic sector, which is what Democrats cared about. So where's that going to come out in the military? We're going to have less battle armor for our soldiers? Is it going to be less sort of help in health care? And where's that going to come for regular people? Is it going to come in education funding? Is it going to come in Pell Grants? Nobody wants to do the sequester, but if we cannot come up with a deal by then, these cuts become automatic, and they're really draconian.
So what is the third cliff?
Well, the third cliff is the continuing budget resolution, and that's the one that everybody remembers from the 90s. Basically, what's going to happen is, if Barack Obama and the Republican Congress cannot figure out a way to approve a budget so that we can keep paying for our government, everybody loses their job. And it's sort of like the government shutdown that we had back in the 90s, a real mess.
That is huge. Is it so severe, though, that it could lead to another recession if not handled properly?
I mean, we're still essentially in a recession, regardless of what people want to say. But yes, if there's a massive government shutdown for an extended period of time, that's a huge problem. Remember, there's still distribution of Sandy aid going on. There's still sort of military spending going on. If we don't have a functioning government, these things go up in the air. So we can't have a government shutdown, and all these things are happening late February, early March.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jason Johnson. Get the tissues ready.